We are Matri. You are listening to
Scene World Podcast.
Anyway,
Yes. Hey, what's up? Happening world.
Scene.
It's that podcast with us.
That's not sure if that is in the right order, but people will get it.
That's a great. That is. We're saving that. That is freaking glorious.
In the power belief, we do.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Whatever that means. Yes, exactly. Him Jorg, I AJ. This is
nice
podcast in a minute.
Yeah, we will be talking to Lual Games from the German part of Switzerland.
Yes.
About their upcoming text adventure game
called.
No, it's actually officially a text adventure.
I thought there was
No, they call it a text adventure, not a graphic adventure.
Well, no. It's not a graphic adventure, but it's like a graphic text adventure. It's a text adventure with graphics.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
But anyway,
yes, it's
a
go west. It's a go west, and then whatever, and then things change.
I doesn't exist. Is the name?
I doesn't exist. Yes. You should be. If you're watching this, you'll see me playing the game badly during the interview, because I did that. So yeah, if you're listening to this, then you can go and watch it and watch me play a game badly.
And if you watch it, you can go and listen to it. Isn't that nice?
Yes. Otherwise, you can just close your eyes and imagine that I'm playing the game badly.
Awesome. So much possibilities on modern technology.
So many. Yeah, I know. Podcasts are like cutting edge of everything, man.
Wow. It's like multimedia. You have sound, picture, and video.
Yes. So, well, that's picture and video is kind of the same thing, right?
Kinda.
Hey, have you seen this thing on YouTube? The YouTube. Hi. What did you want?
That sounds like a YouTube, like an eBay notification.
That's an eBay notification letting me know that I am the winning bid currently on.
Awesome.
What was I saying? Did you notice that YouTube you can now watch things in 1080p and 1080p premium?
Yeah, but that is already since a while, at least in Germany.
Yeah. So you can I just discovered you can pay to watch YouTube videos, which will block the ads and let you, and being the schmuck that I am, I signed up for my 7-day free trial, to see what exactly, the difference between 1080 and 1080 premium is. And let me tell you, there is no difference between 1080 and 1080 premium. And
also I saw you can download videos.
No, you can't.
You can.
It is a lie. It is a lie. When I download, if I want to download a video, right? I want to have that video on my computer in a file that I can watch. That's not how this works. You go to YouTube and you can watch, and the video is downloaded in your browser cache or whatever, so you can watch it offline, but on YouTube. You don't have the file that you can do anything with.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. It's not downloading. It is not. It doesn't download it to anywhere that you can get to it. You have to be on YouTube, which I don't understand. If you're offline, how do you go to YouTube to watch your downloaded video?
You can, because the app also works without internet.
What app?
YouTube app.
The YouTube app, yes, but not on my computer. I don't have a YouTube app.
Yeah,
well, I've got a browser. It makes it easy for, like, if I want to watch a video where I have no service on my computer, there's no Wi-Fi on my computer, and I've got the video downloaded, so I can just go to there while I've got service and just pull up that page when I get to where I don't and watch the video. But if I'm someplace where I don't have service, I can't get to YouTube to watch it.
There's probably some way you didn't think about.
Maybe you can, like, root through the cache or something to to find the file.
I guess there is something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there are third-party solutions that I use, like MacX YouTube Downloader, which will download the actual file as like an MP4. But I much prefer that because it's free. But yeah.
I like how if you do that, the old YouTube videos actually are downloaded in a WebM format and not an MP4. It's like, wow, this actually is so old that you have to convert it so you can use it in modern video editing software.
The software I use actually does the conversion on the fly, so it downloads it. You get it as an MP4 no matter what version it is. You can tell it. You can tell it to download it as the whatever you just said, the web 3 or whatever. But
WebM.
Yeah, WebM. Yeah, but otherwise it will automatically convert it on the fly. And
Who will do that?
That's the MacX video MacX YouTube downloader.
I see.
I believe there is a PC version as well. I could be making that up, but they make a lot of cool things.
Anyway, should we move to the news from YouTube?
We probably should, because we've been talking for 10 minutes about nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, so I have two news.
Yes.
From the mascot area of Sega and Nintendo. One is about Mario, and the second one is about Sonic.
Now say the first one's name again.
Mario.
Mario. Okay. I've been getting into an argument with my fiance for some time now about whether it's pronounced Mario or Mario.
It's pronounced Mario because we interviewed Charles Martinet and he says Mario himself.
And because I am from Jersey, which is right next to New York, which is from where Mario is supposed to be, we always said Mario. It's the Super Mario Brothers, not the Super Mario Brothers. I don't understand. If you have a comment, if you as the audience dispute this, I say it's Mario. Jurg says it's Mario. Charles Martinet apparently says it's Mario. So it's a me, Mario. He doesn't say it's a me, Mario.
No, it's a me, Mario.
Yeah, right, Mario. It's that Jersey, New York, This is a great intro. This is quality content right here.
Anyway, so the news is there will be a new 2D Super Mario game.
Nice. Maybe.
That's already it. I will link to a TikTok video where they show some footage about it.
What's it look like? What's it look like?
Like a 2D Super Mario game?
But like 8-bit, or like does it look really nice?
It looks really nice. Modern graphics. Yeah. So
guys, nothing will beat the graphics of Super Mario Brothers 3. I'm sorry. Just do that. Just do Super Mario Brothers 3 graphics. Please don't try to make it nicer. Don't fancy it up.
I'm fine with anything basically, but that is probably because I played a lot of Super Mario All Stars, which actually had updated graphics.
I did too. Yeah, on the SNES.
Yeah.
I had Super Mario World, I think it was, and yeah, it was updated graphics, but like I could never get into it because it felt wrong because he looked too good. Whereas
I didn't care as a kid.
I did. I don't think I was a kid. You and I have a few years between us.
4, I believe.
How old are you gonna be?
I'm 41 right now.
41. Okay, I'm 44. So 3 years betwixt us.
3 years.
So yes.
Oh my God.
So I'm so much older than you. I don't understand how we could even be friends.
Ooh, 3 years apart. Oh my God. Anyway, so the second news is about the Sonic Symphony World Tour is happening.
What is that?
And some spots are already sold out. Well, it's a symphony going through the world, touring, and playing Sonic theme songs. That's basically it.
Okay. There was, in the original Sonic, there was a banger of a tune. I think it was the second level or something. I can't.
Yeah. So the countries they will be are UK, France, USA,
Yeah.
Brazil, Germany,
Also, yeah.
Japan, and Canada.
Awesome.
Quite a mix, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of Japan, our good friend,
Nick Vivid.
our good friend Nick Vivid is in Japan right now doing a concert thing, a tour in Japan, and posting some awesome Instagram stories where he's
Nice,
wearing
nice.
like it looks like he's wearing custom made Japanese pajamas, but
Awesome.
that dude has fashion sense that my girlfriend wish I had.
Nice.
But yes, he's over there right now. So if you happen to live in Japan, and I'm sure we have some Japanese listeners and or watchers, go find him and check out his tour if he's still touring when this comes out, which hopefully he will be,
Awesome.
because this should come out pretty soon.
So now we spoke about Super Mario and Sonic.
Yes.
And now we also have news about the C64 counterpart.
The what?
The C64 counterpart.
We had a counterpart.
Gianna Sisters.
Oh God.
And now there is a Petsky version released.
Oh.
Create Gianna Petsky Sisters can now be downloaded for free from itch.io. We will link to that.
Am I the only person on the earth that does not like the great Gianna Sisters?
I liked it, but I didn't like the music.
Okay, I will give you that. Yes. I too, I enjoyed it as a game. The music annoyed me.
Which is interesting because it's
considered.
It's considered one of the greatest pieces of Brazil.
I know.
And I don't understand why.
Okay, the
Because
theme,
it's so
the
many-
main theme is great. The main theme is awesome.
I don't like it.
But once you get into the game, when you get into the game and you start playing, the music just goes.
I don't even like the intro theme. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the soundtrack of.
Yeah, he
of
just phoned it in, I guess, with that one. It was like, whatever, here's some music.
Yeah.
But there's so many games like that, which are like, I mean, okay, like Thundercats on the 64. None of that music is the Thundercats theme. If I listened to that, I saw Thundercats, and I listened to the music, and I'm like, the hell is this? This isn't.
I mean, the High Voltage SID Collection Steel Info has a whole story about how Rob Hubbard didn't convert the music from Commando from the arcade machine on the C64 that he was contracted for. Instead, he did his own random song and loaded it in the night on all computers in the building just because he felt like it. So it was like, I'm paid to do this. Why should I do a conversion? Fuck it, I will just do my own thing.
Yeah.
But there were different times, Nowadays, nobody would pay you if you do the opposite what you are paid to do.
True.
But back then in the 80s, probably nobody
You could get away with that stuff back then.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got a couple bits of news here, just two. One is that the virtual 60,
That's perfect.
Yes, that's beautiful.
We will link to that in the podcast.
Yes, that will be right down there.
Next news
There's lots
item.
of B's and L's, yes. The virtual C64 emulator for Mac has been updated to version 4.6.
Nice.
And that's I haven't really used it. I prefer Vice if I'm going to use an emulator, but I mean it exists, so that's cool. And the other one is the C64 OS version 104 has been released.
Nice.
And that's an odd kind of a duck, because this was done by a dude who wanted to make an OS for the 64, for the C64, and like a modern-ish OS, and he kind of did it, although it's not like Geo's is like bitmap and kind of like kind of higher tech. This is more like character graphics and stuff like that, but they've introduced a new universal graphics format called CGFX, which is which according to the Oasis BBS release, it supports various native and non-native video modes, offering metadata, format details, and frame size information. And it allows for multiple frames with panoramas, matrices for 3D models and look-around scenes, and short animations up to 256 frames. So and the SID Play library has also gained support for metadata. And there's a new utility called SID Preview that lets you listen to PSID music files. So so you can check out stuff from the high voltage SID collection. And updated drivers for Turbo Chameleon and MMC64. So it's really, I really want to try this. At the same time, I don't, because I don't know. You need so for an OS, and this is an issue that we have for the C65, right? Is that the Mega 65 comes out, so you got to see the C65 is now a thing. You can get a Commodore 65, right? There's no infrastructure. There's no you know what I mean? Like there's no people aren't making software for this thing. Geos,
because it's not compatible with anything else.
Right. Geos has been around forever. People made a ton of stuff for it, even if nothing new has been made for it in years, which is not true. They're still making things for it. But even if nothing new is being made for it, there's still a library of software that you could use to use that system. Same thing with Amiga OS. They're still making stuff for that. But this is a brand new OS that I don't know if are people going to adopt it? Because most people that use the 64 aren't using it for day-to-day tasks. They're using it for playing a game or coding a demo or something like that. They're not using it as a machine that would require an OS per se, So I don't know. I guess I guess the thing is that I want to see where it goes before I want to try it, but at the same time doing that is going to hinder the adoption of the thing as an OS.
I see where it's coming from.
Yeah, it's like with electric cars. Like you can make an electric car, but there's no charging stations. But no one wants to make a charging station because there's no electric cars yet.
Or you build an OS around a new technique, for example, Kontiki.
Right. But Kontiki is works on multiple platforms and has a lot of uses.
Yeah. Yes, Kontiki is actually considered to be an internet-based network operating system.
Yes.
So it's actually based around Pico IP and Pico TCP IP.
Right, and they also use it for embedded systems and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's a totally different thing. That's got a lot of use cases. This is a very, very narrow use case. It's an OS for the C64 that it looks good. It seems like a cool piece of software. I'd like to try it. But
what's it called?
C64 OS.
And I know what you are talking about. I've seen it. Yeah,
and it is. You can buy it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's for sale, and that's kind of the thing that I can't get past is like, do I want to buy this? Like, what's the?
I mean, we had similar things in the late 90s. We had in Germany, the Mega Patch,
right?
Which actually is a GeoS compatible upgrade.
Exactly.
And
Geo's
in the
compatible.
US, in US you had the thing by Maurice Rendell, which was
Reels.
called Reels. Yeah.
Yep.
And later on, Protovision tried. No, actually, it wasn't Protovision. It was Chester Colson tried it with Clips. That was a super CPU supported or driven operating system that had a web browser that supported graphics, but it didn't succeed because people weren't really using it.
Right.
So perhaps that story is repeating here.
Yeah, I mean it's for sale for $59 Canadian. I don't know what that.
Wow.
American, and that's just
that's probably around $70 or something.
That's just the bundle. That's a starter bundle, but then there's also the standard bundle, which has more to it. That's out of stock. That's $64 Canadian.
Wow.
So like, I mean, it's not. It ain't cheap.
Super cheap.
I mean, yeah. Right, and I mean, if you.
And why is it out of stock? Isn't it on discs so you can easily copy it?
It's on an SD. It's on an SD card. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
okay.
And I think it's made to work with the SD card.
So the SD, I see.
Right. So the starter bundle comes
with which I don't have.
Yeah, a 16 meg SD card, and the standard bundle is a 64 meg SD card.
So that's strange. Why is it sold out if you can simply copy it?
I don't know, and I don't see
it's artificial. It's artificially sold out.
Yeah, and I don't see a just a download, like a purchasable download. And again, not to poo-poo this guy's thing, like it's a lot of work went into this, and I don't fault the guy in the least for what he's doing. Like it's some good stuff, and there's a lot of retro recipes looked at it. A lot of people have taken a look at this thing, and it's cool, but I just I don't know.
The funny thing is, the guy who is coding that, he knows us.
Yeah.
Because he was like inactive for 12 years or something. And on his Twitter account, when he got active on the C64 scene again, he actually was quoting one of our tweets. And it's actually Jorio Naku, and he actually quoted one of our tweets and commented like, "Wow, I'm surprised you are still around. We as Scene World. There are not many projects that have such an endurance." Oh,
yeah. Well,
so he knows us. He knows us. Yeah. And probably, since he knows us, he will listen to this.
Well, maybe we should have him on and talk to him about this, because this is this could be, if it's adopted, if it's a thing that people really get into, this could kind of, this could revolutionize the 64.
Perhaps he could explain to us why a software is sold out.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make sense to me. So, if you listen to this, contact at sceneworld.org. Thank you.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah,
so,
we should now get to our interview.
Well, no, I have more news.
Oh, you got more? Oh, geez.
You don't want to cut me on the news, right?
No, not if I can help it.
Okay, well, so one of the early adventure games, Goblins with 3 eyes, was actually an early 90s adventure of a special kind. And now the original creator from France, he actually released part number 5, Goblins 5, on the July 20th on
Okay.
Steam.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was a total surprise. And of course, you can switch the game between French and English.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, and last but not least, Kotaku released an article coined on the latest Street Fighter 6 game that we mentioned in our last episode, mentioning every game ranked from the worst to best. So if you want to dig deep into the worst and the best
Summer
episodes
games
of...
the worst.
Oh, come on, man. Okay, so if you want to dig into the best and the worst parts of the episodes release of the franchise, you can go to Kotaku.
Yeah.
And Summer Games is not the worst. Actually, Summer Games is one of the groundbreaking games from the technical
I know.
and gameplay standpoint.
I know.
And the one thing you always mention as negative is that it looks like different games glued together. That is actually because it was done by a team of people. So
yeah,
different coders, different graphic artists. So that's why it looks so like a mosaic put together.
Yes.
I actually interviewed Chris Crick, who did the music and sound effects for the successor of Summer and Winter Games, which is called The Games Summer and the Games Winter Edition.
I've never
played. I was lucky enough to interview him for our disc magazine. You know, my persistence, 10 years of trying to reach him. Never forget.
Yes.
Yeah, well, so now let's jump to Switzerland.
Yes.
And talk to the two women that do I Doesn't Exist. And they do exist.
So does the game.
Exactly.
Mine is not.
Anyway, now let's finally start. Now that we are ready on all sides. Alrighty. So, today we are doing another interview for the podcast. And today we are going to Switzerland. And to two women, and that would be Anna-Lena and Luzia.
Luzia, yeah.
Yeah. And so Anna-Lena Pontet and Luzia Huettenmoser. And if I'm not mistaken, the first two letters of your names are actually forming your company name, right?
Yes.
So
true,
AL and LH or something?
LU, yeah.
LU. Okay.
Lual games. Yeah.
Oh.
Right. So you put kind of. Okay, I see why, because LH doesn't make so much sense. Right. Okay, I see.
Yeah, that's
the problem with the double name. That's the problem with the double name, actually.
It's also a nickname, so.
True.
Lu and L.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually go by those nicknames, so it made sense.
There's dog number 2.
Oh my god.
She's the coughing one.
Yeah. Anyway, I will not leave the coughing one in the podcast anyway.
Well, we'll try not to.
So anyway, we are talking to you today because you are actually working on a text adventure that is actually having a grammar error in its name. It's called I Doesn't Exist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it actually got AJ when I told him the first time. He was like, "Wait a second, is it really that? Is it really its name?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is."
I mean, it has a reason. It's not. We didn't just do wrong grammar.
Alrighty. Is it something? Is it something that's a spoiler if you tell us about?
No, not at all. No. We had the idea when we started working with the bot, and sometimes it didn't understand a word. And I mean, I guess it makes a lot more sense if you play the game, but it's a play on doesn't exist, so I doesn't exist.
That's why it's in square brackets. It always puts the
Exactly.
input it doesn't understand in there, and then it's like,
Okay,
I
okay.
doesn't exist. And it's like, existential terror.
Alrighty. So let's start at the beginning. I mean, how did you actually got in touch with computers and actually, decided to go into gaming, into game design actually, and create your own indie studio, and then on top of that, finding somebody to finance you to work on a text adventure. I mean, text adventure wasn't a thing anymore when I was young either. So that's like way, 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 way back.
Really quick. Lou, is someone creeping outside your window?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
My
okay.
roommate. All good, I'm not a
Okay.
danger.
I just wanted to make sure no one was breaking into your house
no,
actively while we
okay,
were doing
okay.
a podcast.
I work in the living room, so you will probably see someone
Oh, okay.
sometime.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Zurich isn't known to have such a high crime rate that you would be kidnapped from your home. So let's hope not.
Also, I have a dog, so I'll be fine.
Yeah.
She'll alert.
Yeah.
That would be new. A crime happening in front of the camera.
That's what I was worried about. That was I was worried about someone breaking in and like being like, who do I call? Because I'm in the U.S. I don't know the 911 services for outside.
Yeah.
No, don't worry.
I don't know either, actually. What do we call? I don't know.
I mean,
Anyway.
in Europe, yeah, you normally call 112.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
117,
true.
right?
Yes.
For police.
It's probably
Yeah,
it's probably a good thing that you don't know it, because that means that there's not a lot of crime.
But anyway, 911 is in most countries forwarding to the local
Yeah,
emergency.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guess it's
I
a
did
lot.
not know that.
Yeah. But if I was abroad and I had an emergency, the most thing I would worry about is, does anybody understand English over there? That would be my worry number one, because I don't know Spanish or whatever language is spoken in the countries I've been so far. So
I
anyway,
assume most people would understand help, at least.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
right. Anyway, so the question was,
Yes.
how did you get both involved into computers, into computer games, then deciding I'm going to become a game developer, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going self-employed and making my own indie studio, and then on top of that, making a text adventure. That's a genre that was hip even before I was young, and I was born in '82, and even when I was a kid, we had graphic adventures already. So how did that happen? Who wants to start?
It's a long question. I can start. Okay, so let's start at the beginning then.
I was born.
I was
Yeah.
born. No, I grew up with 2 siblings that were very into games, and I vividly remember sitting in front of the like old Mac computers and playing The Sims together with them. So I think that was kind of the start of, this whole adventure. And then when I realized that this is an actual job and I can do this for a living, I started studying game design together with Elle at ZLK, at Zurich University of the Arts. And yeah, I think I knew from very young basically that I wanted to do this, and yeah, it was very straightforward, just doing that. I was very lucky that I knew from the beginning what I wanted to do. And I always loved old retro games and kind of figuring out like the root of things, not only in games, but like just knowing the history of things. And since gaming is like such a close to my heart, text adventures is something that like started this whole thing off, right? It was like the first kind of adventure game, and I love adventure games. So I made a game in the studies, which was kind of text-based, not an adventure like text adventure, but text-based. And then for bachelors, me and Elle decided to then make a text adventure and kind of really dig into that whole all the things that make text adventures great and how to improve on them as well.
All right.
Very cool.
I was also born at some point, a few years earlier than Lou. But I think I always liked escaping when I was younger, like to different worlds. I read a lot, but then also like different media. And my mother was always she was always very into like new technology stuff. So she very early on bought us Game Boys, me and my sister. My sister wasn't that into it, but I was obsessed.
Are we talking original Game Boys or like the Advance or?
The first color one. That was my first one. That
Okay.
I'm dating myself here, but yeah. I was a bit too young for the very first one, but then the color one I got. And I was just really obsessed with that. And I was totally a console, mainly handheld gamer at that point. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, really. I've always really liked design and like the interfacing of humans and, well, digital stuff. Mm-hmm. So UI design, and all of that. So I studied visual communication first, also in Zurich. And then I worked as a web dev for a while. Well, also web designer. I didn't just do the programming. But then I got bored and I was like, I'm not really passionate about this. And I had no idea that making games it was interesting, but I never thought that's something that I could do. Right. But then I got bored and everyone was always so passionate about their job and I wasn't. Now, what am I passionate about? Well, I go home and I play video games. And I already did like a game for my first, well, it wasn't a bachelor, but it was like my exam project for visual communications. I already did a game that dealt with like the different ways text and visuals interact with a game and how it changes the meaning of the story and the game itself. So that was already sort of like in my head. I mainly did it for the user interface, for the user interaction kind of thing. But there was more behind it, I realized later. So I was like, you know what? There's a game design studies. Let's just see if we get in it, and let's just do this for fun. And if nothing comes from it, I can just go back to being a web dev with more experience, because game design is user design in the end, like user interface design. But then Lou and I did the bachelor's, and that worked really well. And then we continued doing it. And I was really, really interested before the bachelor's to try something with AI, mainly text parsing and stuff, which worked out beautifully with what Lou wanted to do. And because I grew up on like the Game Boy graphics, I've always loved pixel things and the nostalgic things, and then especially because of the work I did before, how do visuals and text work together, etc., etc. So I really wanted to do that. So we did that and it worked out well. And then we continued working on it a little bit and we got a government grant, some pre-production, which we didn't expect at all. No. It was like the end of the year after our bachelor's, and we completely forgot at that point that we both like applied for it. Yeah, we had jobs and we were like, look, we're just gonna like polish it a little bit and then just release it. And then like in December, Lou gets a letter and calls me like, we got the grant. Yeah. I'm like, what grant? I don't remember. Yeah. So that was cool. And then jumping off of that, we were able to go to the GDC, where we met our publisher, and we talked for a while, and then like about half a year later, we were able to get a contract. So, and we are able now to work full time because they're financing the development. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
So what format?
I don't think I've ever heard of a game getting like a government grant to produce the game. That's amazing, actually.
We do have that a little bit in Switzerland.
Really?
To be fair, the money that we actually get is horrendously little. They do
But
not
they
seem
are
to be aware.
They just can't do anything about it. But they,
Yeah, the people
it
who
wasn't-
actually do it are aware. Yeah,
yes,
true.
it's not too much about the money, I don't think, but the support that they give you is unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The people who actually do the grant giving are amazing, and they
Yes.
know that it's not enough money. The government behind it doesn't know that it takes
Yeah.
more money.
Right.
Just
Uh,
one little comment. That's actually what Hans Ippisch did with the Intellivision and their game funding. They actually got money from the Bavarian state here in Germany to get the game funded. So it's actually not so unheard of, you know.
I think in Europe it's more of a thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, the console never got released, and the game development company went bankrupt, unfortunately. So
Are you talking about the Amico or?
yes, the very unsuccessful Amico. Yes, unfortunately. Anyway, from what I've read of you two, I don't know if it's wrong or right. I think you have kind of a split working force. I think Lou work more on the graphic art side, and you, Al, work more on the coding part. Is that correct?
Yes.
All
Sorry,
right.
she just dropped the bone.
No problem. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so who does the music?
Good question.
External musicians, freelance
Oh,
musicians.
okay.
That's Paul Schmidt and Jonas Füllemann, and they are
They're
amazing, the best ever. But they're ours. Keep your fingers away, people. No, they're amazing. They're really, really great.
Yeah.
And we also know them through the ZHTK, so.
We also, if I remember correctly, when we did the Bachelor, there was almost like this open call for like, we were making games, we're looking for musicians, and then the musicians can look at all the projects and apply where they want to. It's really nice.
And they saw ours and were like, this is weird. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. They really get our vibe.
Yeah.
So just so I get that. So the idea to make a graphic adventure that's using I don't know, I think it's called a parser and so on. That's actually sprung out of your project you did for your to finish your studies actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting. It's interesting because you have a demo out there, and I saw on Steam that many people were not happy with the way the game was coded because they were fearing that you would take data transmit over the internet, over the interface, and use it against the users who play the demo and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, why is it? I mean, is it really such a big deal? I mean, in the end, it's just a game. It's not like I'm going to write my bio and all my info in a game when I try to beat the game. You know, it's not like much personal info you could get.
Unlike stuff like what was that the Ron Gilbert game where you actually did put like your info in there. Because you were one of the backers, so you got to be like you got to have an answering machine message.
I mean, a Thimbleweed Park. Yeah,
yes, there you go.
But that was totally volunteer.
Right, yeah, right, that's what I'm saying. Like in contrast to like another game like that where you voluntarily gave them your information.
Exactly. Yes. But that is because I wanted to give the people a chance to call my answering machine in the game. That's a different reason. So anyway, let's talk about that. Why was it such a downer for many people?
Well, the issue was that back then, it's not anymore, but back then the AI was on an external Linux server.
Oh.
It didn't run on your own computer. And people were upset that it had to be online all the time, and there was this connection that they didn't. We did have a warning in the beginning, like, hey, this is going online, so don't put in any passwords or anything, but we don't do anything with it. We just look what things it didn't understand and then try to respond to it. That's all that we did. But I think I personally don't like it either if a game has to be online all the time, to be honest. I wouldn't be scared that it's stealing anything or whatever, but I wouldn't like it either. I'm playing Diablo 4 at the moment, and I don't like that you can't have an offline version of it, for instance. I just, by principle, I don't like it. So I get that they were upset. I, of course, rescind any theory that we're stealing data because we weren't. But it spurred me on to like make a version that works offline, and it now is all offline. But it does need a lot more resources to run now, which is the I guess the other side of the coin.
Right.
But I hope people are more happy about that. I don't know. I really do understand that they didn't like it.
And now let's talk about the design. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's basically a text adventure. So is there even much about graphics and stuff? You know?
I mean, in classic text adventures, maybe not. But for us, we wanted to kind of modernize the genre and bring it into like our century, I guess. And we felt like people don't like to read, and that's very hard with a text adventure, obviously, because you need to read a lot. So we wanted to put in graphics that also show what happens while you type and everything, which also makes it easier to understand what is happening. And we don't have to like explain everything that's happening. We don't have to explain how the bucket looked like to make like the immersion, to bring the immersion there. So we can like cut a lot of that text that would be annoying. And also, when I played the old text adventures, seeing this wall of text was so intimidating. You really need to like make this step to be like, no, I want to play this now. And I feel like if you see a game that's already kind of familiar with pixel graphics, it's a lot easier to get into the genre as well.
Yeah, a lot of games. There was the original text adventures, and then they, I think like the second generation of that had like you know, like the text was at the bottom of the screen, top of the screen was usually a static image just showing you like the room you're in.
Yeah, it was definitely also inspired by that, like this. But we wanted to bring it even further and like, you know, with moving animations and really showing what is happening.
But you don't go that far to mix the text adventure with some kind of clicking interface, because that is what the latest generation of text adventures
Well, yeah, it's not
did.
it's not Monkey Island. Yeah, it's
No.
Well, I mean, not Monkey Island. I mean, for example, for Germany, there is the game Soul Crystal, which is very known here in Germany.
What's
obviously,
it
a Soul Crystal.
Soul Crystal.
So Soul Crystal, right? Yeah. And it's actually from Starbite from '92, if I'm not mistaken. And they actually mixed the text adventure with some graphics, and you anyway have an interface. Like, you don't have to type like go west, go south. You can actually click on arrows to go to the direction you want to go.
Soul Crystal. I'm looking it up right
now.
Yeah, I see it.
Well, a lot of those you could always do a shortcut, like just like type like N or S for north or south or whatever, and didn't have to actually parse out the entire thing.
We don't have that, but we have that you can go up and down with your arrow keys and go through previous commands.
Oh, okay.
All terminal-like, because it gets tiring to right, go left, or walk left, or whatever you choose.
Here's an interesting thing. You mentioned a lot of times that this is exhausting, tiring, and so on, boring whatsoever. And it's actually told that Generation Z doesn't have a very long attention span. Is that kind of a problem, I wonder?
But that's why we tried to make it less that by... you don't have to always use the same words. You can use whatever you want, really, because of how the parser's set up. up to a certain limit, of course, but I try.
Yeah, are you using a
There's-
specific I know there's a lot of stuff with like ChatGPT recently, with
Oh, yeah, it's
those
not
kind
like
of AI models. So are you using like a pre-existing one, or did you design your own?
I didn't completely design my own. I like cobbled together an assortment of different ones, but they're entirely in the natural language processing space. They're not in the generating anything space, because we still wanted to be the authors of our own story.
Right.
And we want to use AI more as a tool instead of as a crutch or something.
Right.
To make things easier for us or for the player or both, however it works.
So what type of adventure is it? Is it more like horror, spooky, funny, mystical, whatever?
Elle has a very good explanation, a very good title for it.
Oh god, which one is it?
The uncomfortableness.
Psychological uncomfortableness?
Yes,
that's the genre.
It's not quite. It's spooky, I would say, but it's not like horror as you. Like, it's not classic horror, I wouldn't say. It's more like psychological horror, but like mild.
So
Yeah,
I'm
look,
not-
It's like walking in your basement with
Yes.
that where you're slightly uncomfortable and there's
Yeah, but
spiders
the
and things.
basement is your brain, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a perfect example of making a twisted end somehow. And like, ooh. Anyway, but let's not spoiler the game perhaps too much. Otherwise people would actually know what's going on. That's actually the problem. The problem of this interview. We can't be too detailed with the questions about the game, or otherwise people get an idea already how to beat the game, right? Like, yeah, didn't they say this in this interview?
Just keep the rubber chicken in your inventory.
I mean, there is one more thing I would like to say about the fact that we use entirely just text to interact. Well, mostly. Instead of having a point and click or anything, there is a very important reason why you interact with text in the game, and that will reveal itself at a later point in the game. Which is also one of the main reasons why we even used natural language processing instead of just making a huge list of an Excel sheet with terms on it, etc., etc. But yes, you have to play it to know.
Okay.
I mean, in my life, I always learned there are 3 types of adventure. Doesn't matter if it's text or whatever, or graphic or whatever. Either you go the Sierra route, where you always can die for stupid reasons, or you go the Lucasfilm/Lucasfilm.
You can't die at all.
Where you can die, but only if you do something stupid. You are warned that you are going to die if you try hard, and then you do it anyway, and then you die. Or the third type is, as AJ just said, you can't die at all. And I wonder what I mean, are you going the twisted way of being able to die, or are you petting the player a lot and saying okay, we are going easy on you and you can't do so much wrong?
You don't. Okay, I think we can say this, but I'll package this up. You can't die in the game, but only because dying isn't a thing in the game.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Let's say it like that.
Yeah,
Is that good? Okay.
and also, but what I always hated about some games was you forgot to make an action or pick up an item, which you later need in another location, but you can't go back to get the item you missed. So you have to reload from the beginning and start the game all over again. And that was typical for the 80s. That's wow. And in many of those games back then, you only had one save game. One save game slot, you know.
Yeah. So if you've gone too far, then you're
Yeah.
screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Maniac Mansion and Zack McCracken from Lucasfilm Games, Ron Gilbert, were very much famous for that.
Yeah.
But again, in those games, you can't die in those games.
Yes, but the problem is in Maniac Mansion, if you are caught too often and
You
and
can,
the wrong character,
you can save yourself into a corner.
But the problem is if the wrong person is caught and you don't have another fitting character, you have to restart the game. That's really something that can happen.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So I see by your smiling, you are not going that nasty route of totally pissing off the player and like get that.
No.
I mean, in those senses that you said, it really isn't a classic text adventure. Like, we're not doing any of those things. It's built up very differently in the end. It's more of a different ways of doing it, and not like you have to do this exactly like this to get to the end. There's different. It's it has multiple endings.
Okay. So do you have any role model of a computer game that you take inspiration from? I mean,
a bunch. Yeah. I mean, for the bachelors also we had to kind of analyze the games further, and I'm really happy that we did that. Because it gave us a lot of inspiration, what to do better, and just overall what to do.
Right.
One of those is House Abandoned, which is one chapter of
Stories Untold
by
No Code, I think.
By
right?
No Code, yeah, No Code
Yes,
Studios.
very good.
It's amazing. It's, I think, the first horror game that I played, and it blew me away. I love horror, like the genre, but I can't play the games because I'm too scared. And this is the first game that I finally could play. And when I played this text adventure, in the first act, I was, it was frustration, but also like admiration for them putting this in. That's one of them. And then there's also, I think, Interview with the Whisperer. By the Deconstruct team, which is really good. It's about you interviewing an old man, I think, and they do it really cleverly because they make it so the old man doesn't remember everything or doesn't like understand everything that you say. So it feels really immersive when the AI that they use doesn't understand you.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
And they actually also, like, I reached out to them, and they actually, for the first iteration of the game, where it was still online, they actually helped me out and told me how they did it. Because I was struggling with something, and they actually were coincidentally using the same thing as I was using. And they actually helped me out, so love to them if they ever see this.
Very sweet.
Interesting.
Also a small team, I think.
Yeah, I think like 4 or 5 people, at least last time I checked. Yeah. Another game was The Beginner's Guide.
Yes. Because of the vibe, I think. Because
of the existential dread and like the metatextual stuff that's going on, and just kind of how it leads you down into. I mean, Stanley Parable too, a little bit. Just the whole how the narrative is built up and how the player is involved in that narrative and how the game itself is involved in that narrative. Those kind of things.
Right.
I don't know. Did you ever play the game Hacker by Activision?
No.
That's actually an interesting one because it's kind of a text adventure. Basically, it is a text adventure, and even the manual from the game doesn't help you at all. You're kind of a hacker, and you intrude it into a security system, and you get a command prompt, and that's all you get. And then, like, good luck in finding your way through the game.
I've heard about it, but I haven't played it.
You should. It's
It looks
like
really cool.
it's you are like
It's rough. It's rough.
it's totally rough. Like you are in the command line and like, okay, what I'm doing now? I have no idea. No instructions
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Hack it.
They just dump you right into it.
Exactly. Yeah. AJ, you know the game, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was one of my jams when I was a kid.
Yeah. And it was actually so successful they made a successor to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just saw.
And me being a kid, you know, I played that game, and then I totally was like telling people, "Yeah, I'm totally a hacker." And it's like, yeah, no, you played a game, fool.
Yeah, it's from '85.
Yeah.
So anyway, and it's yeah, it's really like what's going on there, you know. Anyway,
Mhm.
yeah.
I think our game is not that hard. I think.
No. It's also not the point.
No.
I'm looking
Right.
at I'm looking at pictures of it right now. It's got a really cool artistic theme to it. I can't. What's the word I'm thinking of? This is the first. This is the first part of the podcast that we need to cut out because
It's no problem.
AJ has to think of words. Oh my God, Jurg, help me out here.
I mean, it's not my native language.
Can you
either.
describe it?
Like
or...
the style of the graphic. There you go. It's got a very unique graphical style to it. That is unusual in that, you know, it's pixel, you know, it's pixely graphics, you know, like but it's also got like a very unique style and a unique like color palette that it uses and stuff to kind of like set a tone and whatnot. And you know, like, so was there I'm sure there was a thought process behind that, but you know, can you go into that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, we try to make it look as welcoming and friendly and beautiful as possible. Maybe to kind of, you know, I don't know.
false
how to
sense of
think it.
security.
A false sense of security. Yes.
Not
very
that
much
there's
so.
any reason for that.
No,
It's
not at
it's
all.
also it's also very surreal in looking at, like, your character is largely a tall, skinny. He looks like me if I was just a silhouette.
Yes.
Like
We
he's-
wanted to make it just, you know, very how do you say, androgynous?
Mm-hmm.
Androgynous, yeah.
Just a black blob that doesn't really, you know, doesn't really
Avoid
look like
maybe.
avoid, exactly. Just
Yeah.
a
I don't know if
thing,
I'd call
not
myself
really.
androgynous, but I have been compared to a cross between a large water bird and a old-fashioned farming implement. So, but it is a very unique and kind of surreal art style that is really cool looking. And as a graphics guy, that's meant as a compliment.
Thank you. I'll take it as a compliment. we also only took, I think, 8 colors to kind
Plus
of
one.
also plus 1. Yeah, we added 1 extra so we can show what objects you can use just to make it a bit easier. But it's 8 colors. Let's just say it's 8 colors. Just to kind of emulate that old time. And also you can also see it on the Steam page. Later there's only 2 colors, so it's like even more broken down and very high contrasts.
Yeah.
I mean that was the good thing about the older computers like the Commodore 64 from '82. We at least had 16 colors, not just 8. You know?
Well, you know what it feels like a lot to me is it feels like a lot of early Amiga games, because they would because you had, you know, the Amiga sitting back here, you had 4096 colors, but in most graphics modes you were limited to 16 or 8 or whatever, and so a lot of them would choose this sort of kind of, and what I'm seeing is kind of like a bluish and an orangish like
Mm.
gradient, and that's you saw that a lot in older Amiga games. Was that kind of like orange to blue gradient, and it feels a lot like that just by looking at it. I haven't played it yet, although I do see that there's a Mac version. So awesome. I usually have to argue with our guests to get a Mac version to happen.
It doesn't work on Apple Silicon processors yet.
That's
I'm
awesome
working
because
on it.
I don't have an Apple Silicon processor and I don't want one. So
Fair, but some people want it and they have to make it work.
yeah.
Interestingly, Steam says for me, similar games you have played, unusual findings.
Mm.
Is that I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is that really so similar to
But also,
unusual
just
findings?
to jump back, the Apple Silicon does do an emulation mode, so it should run on it. Because it's got that Rosetta 2 to emulate the Intel.
I think there might be, for some technological jargon view into the back room, it might be a problem with the Python version that we're using because that it needs to be like a specific one, and then I need to patch that in. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Unusual findings, really? It's similar to that?
Steam says it.
I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I can see it.
Interesting.
It just looks like Stranger Things.
Exactly, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Huh.
It's also pixel art.
It's old school.
I mean, everybody does pixel art nowadays, isn't it? You know.
Yes. And Jörg has not gone into his rant about how pixel art is not meant to be pixely. So
That's
again,
true.
take that as a compliment because he usually goes into like a 20-minute rant about how pixel art back in the day didn't look like that because it was on a different screen and it blended things
Yes,
together.
it's actually true. On
Yeah.
CRTs, you had blurry, not sharp pictures, so it wasn't as pixelated.
Yeah,
you know?
but you haven't mentioned anything about that.
We didn't have big blobs of pixels moving around in the 80s or 90s. We didn't have that.
Right.
I mean,
but
if
again,
I remember correctly, Lou, you went for a bit of a painterly style anyway, right? So
Yes, I did, but I also tried to emulate that. But I'm not too well versed in like shaders and all of that stuff, so I couldn't quite make it work. But yeah, I did want to go for like a painted look more. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I definitely I picked that up. I can see that, and again, I think it's a testament to how good it looks. The fact that Jörg hasn't complained about the pixeliness.
I mean, one word about the 8 colors palette on the Commodore 64 for the background and the surroundings. Lemmings actually using 4 colors, so. It's actually still better than the game Lemmings, you know.
Yes, it is absolutely And again,
the good
it's a
thing
very
is people these days don't know that anymore, so they just see that and it looks old. Nostalgia, great.
Yeah. But it's all. But again, like I mentioned before, how you chose that particular color palette. You wouldn't have that palette on the 64 because you're stuck on 16 colors and they're all various shades of brown. So
we have to give credit where credit is due, though, Lou, right? The color palette is from someone, right?
Yes, I didn't make the color palette myself. Like I adjusted it, but it's not mine.
Okay.
Right.
But I also feel like it's depending on the stage of the game because in later preview pictures, it's not orange anymore, but green. So it's probably changed.
Well, they said they picked the 8 colors plus 1, so the green is probably the plus 1. We don't want to go too into spoilers.
I mean, it's in the trailer, there's a green part. You can see it.
It's not always that welcoming and cute anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Neither is your brain, maybe.
I mean, that green part looks like it used to be the alpha of Doom, but that didn't happen, so it turned into something else.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So
there's actually Doom hidden in the game. No.
Yeah.
That's the spoiler right there.
John Romero wouldn't approve, right? I'm not so sure
I
about
think
that.
John Romero would approve.
I have his phone number. We can ask him.
Yeah, call him up right now. Get him on the phone.
It's not in there. Please, no.
Put it in real quick.
And it also takes not much. I'm looking at again at the system requirements and whatnot, and whereas I just downloaded No Man's Sky and it was like 20 gigs. This is 600 megs.
Oh,
demo,
that needs
for
to
the
be
demo.
updated. It's
Oh.
yeah. The full game is gonna be 6 gigabytes.
Okay, that's still
I need to
far
update
less
those,
than
actually.
a lot of games these days.
Yeah, that's just because
games
the
of
AI
this-
is running on your own computer. So
Yeah, right. And even games that are in this style,
yeah.
they tend to be large, and that's 6 gigs is almost nothing. That's a large JPEG.
Yeah. People have 6 gigs lying around, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you have one advantage over text adventures. You don't have threats on the Steam forum like, "Can you translate this game into Polish or whatever?" And I'm like, "What? It's an indie studio. How much
Well,
language
funny
do
you say
want this
that.
content?" So I don't know.
Funny
It is
you say.
actually getting translated into French, Italian, German,
Really?
Spanish.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Figs.
I was gonna suggest Jörg for doing German.
Ooh.
I can speak nothing but English, so I'm useless. But
And maybe even Polish, actually.
Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No
promises.
I mean, I'm always standing out of the crowd because when I talk to publishers, they always are super amazed when I say like, "Oh, I played in English. Why would I play it in some translated German version? Doesn't make sense, here's the problem you see with games like Unusual Findings. It's actually available in English and Russian, and the development team is from Argentina. So, and the game isn't available in Spanish, but for some reason the game doesn't make a difference between a door being closed and a door being locked. So you have cases like the door is closed, but you can't open it. And the game should tell you need a key because it's locked.
Oh yeah, no, I've run into that. Yeah,
But
even in English games, yeah, it's like
yeah.
The door is closed. It's like, all right, open the door. Can't open the door. Well, why not? And it doesn't tell you.
Exactly, and that's the problem because their publisher is originally from Russia, so they had to make it in Russian and English, and for some reason they had no budget left to make a Spanish version, and then somehow nobody checked before release if the English translations from I don't know if I can say translations because it was never translated from Spanish, but I guess whoever created the text wasn't a native English speaker.
Right,
and
so was it a Spanish game that was translated to Russian or a Russian game that was translated to Spanish?
It's a game from Argentina. From Argentina, so Spanish.
Isn't that Portuguese?
No. In Argentina they speak English.
I don't
Spanish.
know what you're talking about. I don't know.
No. You only speak Portuguese in Angola, Portugal, and Brazil.
Okay.
Those are the 3 countries that speak Portuguese. But yeah.
We should
But
talk
Argentina
about the game and not the history lesson.
Yeah. Anyway, so originally I expected the game to be Spanish, English, and perhaps Russian, but in fact it is only English. That means the developers never use their native language when they develop the game, and it shows because it's like having those issues.
Right.
Which is actually causing the player to be stuck, and you don't know why.
That's rough.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I mean, at least
let's hope you are doing it better. On your
so
game.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll do the German translation by ourselves,
But we
actually.
are
So
developing
Oh, there you go.
in English.
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
So when
Good.
does this? When? It's not. It says coming soon where I see it. Is there a time frame for when it comes out?
It's definitely gonna come out this year, but our publisher hasn't released the date yet, so we
Okay.
can't say anything yet.
Okay. Is there a price
Definitely
point that
this
we can
year,
talk
though.
about?
Also, don't know yet.
Okay. Okay.
So you will be at Gamescom this year and just present a new version. And what's your plan for this year then?
The publisher is just going to Gamescom. They'll have a stand with their other games and ours, and we'll see at what point we are at that point.
So
I
you don't know
are you
yet
guys-
if the two of you are going to Gamescom.
We are definitely
No,
going,
we're
and our
going
game
to
will be there. The question is just, is it going to be released at that point or not?
Mm.
Well, we'll find
We
out.
don't know that.
Because Jurg's gonna hunt you down, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause he's,
I mean,
we'll be there.
I mean,
I won't be, but he'll be there.
yeah.
For sure.
I mean, hey, I could actually bring our graphic artist to your booth if you
Ooh.
like, and I mean, our graphic artist from Lima is actually coming this year.
Yeah. In fact,
Ooh.
that's where we originally found out about them. Correct? Was Gamescom or
Pardon?
something? Didn't we speak to them in
Yes.
we
Yeah.
spoke to them live at Gamescom.
Last year. That's
Yes, last
exactly.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, for
I
sure.
suggested we speak a bit more detailed about the game on the podcast. That was actually the
Yeah,
idea, yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So
Thank
no,
you, by the way, for the invitation.
Not
Oh.
a problem. I mean,
thanks
hey, I mean,
for accepting.
it doesn't happen always that that somebody is working on graphic adventure. On text adventure. Sorry, on text
Yeah.
adventures. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, earlier I spoke to Julia Minamata in a podcast interview, and she's working on EGA graphics adventures.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh my god, EGA, they're still doing that? So I was like, wow, they are still doing text adventures. You know, it's like this, you know, because I mean, I don't know how it was in Switzerland in the press, but in Germany, when Maniac Mansion, the latest Maniac Mansion from Ron Gilbert was released earlier this year, you know, the German press was like, the first graphic adventure in 20 years. I'm like, excuse me? How about all those indie studio
Alright.
graphic adventures?
Well,
Like, I like Ron Gilbert is not the only one doing adventures, you know.
Yeah. I doesn't exist. I see was also part of the Steam Next Fest.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. There's actually a whole thing on Steam with dev diaries and everything. Like there's a lot of interaction, it seems, between you and the audience, which is also really cool.
We try.
yeah.
We have streamed sometimes as well. We actually
Really?
should do one again, Lou. We forgot about that.
Do that again. Well, at the
Tell us
moment it's
more,
really
tell us
hard
more.
to like show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it more like a dev stream where you actually show how you are developing the game?
Yeah.
Well, more or
I
less what we
mean,
can show. It's really
yeah.
hard.
It's hard at the moment to show stuff because it's so much spoilers. So
Oh.
we mainly, if I can draw something for the game, I'll do that,
Okay.
and then we just talk
Or
about
I'll,
fat cats.
Yeah. or
I
I'll
got
just
one of those
despair
too.
about some stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, is that actually a disadvantage of having a publisher? I mean, because I made a lot of interviews last year and this year about adventures, and a lot of developers that actually got funded over, Kickstarter, basically. They told me, I don't want a publisher because then I can't show what I want on live streams. And I have to adjust my game into a way that my publisher will like it. But
I think it largely
don't want
depends on
to.
the publisher. Like
Yes.
if your publisher is EA or something, they're going to be tighter on you than an indie publisher. That
Yeah,
might give
for
you
sure.
more free reign to do what you want to do.
our publisher DreadXP is super hands off about that stuff.
Yeah. They consult more than like they
Yeah.
never tell us what to do and you do that now. It's more like if you want to do this, we think it would be cool, but you don't have
We
to.
could do this if you want to, but it's your game,
Yeah.
just a suggestion, etc., etc. No, they're super like this is still.
It's mostly us that don't want to show too much because we like to kind of keep the surprise.
I think the publisher actually wants to show more stuff, and we're always like, "But it's not a surprise."
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's just a natural question because recently I had an interview with Francisco Gonzalez from Grundeslav Games, and he told me his main reason that he switched publishers was actually because the prior publisher wanted a different style of adventure game being made, and he was like, no, I want to do a different style. Though that's actually why he had to look for a new publisher that would allow him to make a different style of games, you know. Yeah. So that's actually a valuable reason somehow, you know.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, if they would try to like ruin our vision or something, we would also not be happy about it. But they totally have our backs with this. They're really into what we're doing and our vision and stuff. So
that's amazing. Awesome. That's excellent. Awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky. Not only did we get a publisher right out of the studies, we also got a really, really cool one. So.
Yeah, so can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong there.
So let me ask you, what's your national what's your I don't know how to say, what's your usual way of going when you want to make a new part of the game or a new, I don't know, a new fraction of the storyline? Is it like, are you throwing together ideas and draw a storyboard and
or
then
do you have the whole story down already, like, and you just implementing it?
Oh, we have the story done at this point. But when we were working on it, I think we had like a very, very rough outline at first. And since we were working for The Bachelor, we also had to like, do it. It's not like we can't go back, like we couldn't really go into details with all of the stuff. Right, so we had this rough outline, and then once we got the publisher and everything, we were really able to go back into it. And we put up like a mirror board and just threw in all of the ideas that we had, and then picked the ones that made sense and rearranged them where they go and everything.
So what's the planned length of the game? How many hours do you aiming for? Is it like a small game, middle game? Are we spending half a year to finish the game? I don't know.
Oh God, no.
No. It varies hard, I think, because I mean, with any puzzle game, it really depends how you play it, and also with the second part, there's like, it's a lot more. It gives you more options, I would say.
I usually say that it's the perfect length to sit down an evening with a glass of wine or a tea and have an existential crisis about yourself. That's about length.
Okay, interesting.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, mostly the way it goes for me with adventure games is like, I'm getting stuck, I'm getting frustrated, and then I leave it somewhere for half a year before I pick it up again. And after 3 years, I finally finished the game. So.
Yeah.
I hope it won't be the case with this one.
Yeah, I hope so.
So usually I have like five adventure games that I'm playing at once, and every time each a little bit, and I remember co-workers like, did you finish Thimbleweed Park yet? I'm like, no, I'm still stuck and stuff. And after 5 years, like, hey, I finished it, I finished it.
Wow.
Yeah, I
can never keep track of, like, even if I only play one game, if I don't play for 2 days, I don't know where I am anymore.
Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that is what YouTube is good for. You can look at playthroughs and like, okay, at this part I stopped, and then you are like, okay, now I know what I did before, and yeah.
Yeah, so then you gotta show everybody else too.
I should do that more.
Interesting. Yeah, well, as I said, I'm a very unusual type of player. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar with like TV series recaps, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair, yeah.
Last time on.
Yeah.
Last time when you play, I wish some games would have that. Like last
Yeah,
time you
really.
played.
The
Isn't
new
this-
Monkey Island has that, right?
Yeah.
If I
believe it
remember
does.
correctly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
really like
actually
that.
don't know because I didn't start it up a second time yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I believe it does. Yeah, because I have started it up a couple more times.
Yeah.
Now
That's
Ron Gilbert's
cool.
very disappointed with me.
Yeah, I know. What's up, man? What's up with that? He's Ron Gilbert, fool.
Right. So anything you can tell us before we end this? Anything that isn't a secret that you're working on next in your streams, perhaps? What's the plan for the next stream, or I don't know, the next streams?
I think the next stream we wanted to like go through the first part of the game and kind of talk about what we changed, as opposed to like a year ago where it was.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's going to be the next stream, whenever we get time to do that.
And what do you
we are-
normally stream on? Is that Twitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
what's the where can people find you on Twitch?
Is it Lual underline
Lual
games? I
underscore
think.
games, I think.
Yeah, underscore. Yes.
Okay.
Because we are right now in like, we don't know when the game comes out yet, but internally, like we are like in the getting towards the finishing phase, so we're quite busy with lots of little things.
The last 1%.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last 10%
takes the
which
longest.
take 90% of the time.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Or whatever, however the saying goes.
That's exactly how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the effort.
Exactly. So, yeah, we're honestly just working on like all the bugs that are still
Bugs,
around,
yeah.
because sadly that is the truth of game design and game development, is it not?
Right.
Bugs.
Yep.
But hey, you have the advantage instead of the 90s and 80s before the internet, you can actually release a 1-day patch.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
Yeah,
true.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
no,
already
it's
looking
called,
forward
it's
to
called day
being
one
stressed.
patch. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
called day one patch. Yeah.
Already looking forward to the bug reports.
Yep. My favorite thing to wake up to.
Yeah.
Ow, it's not working.
Yeah, but that feeling when you can respond to them and be like, we fixed it.
Yeah. The
And
best.
then the user's like, yes, my one problem that they fixed just for me, when you've probably gotten like 25,000 emails about the same thing.
Absolutely. Well, you got to suffer to truly be happy, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So
Can't
what are
appreciate the
the
good times until you've gotten through all the bad times.
Yeah.
so speaking of bugs, which platforms are you actually aiming towards? Is it like Windows, Mac? What else?
Linux, probably.
Uh-huh.
That's it for now.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Will you be supporting the new Apple VR headset? That looks ridiculous.
Yeah, totally.
I'm already working on the VR stuff.
You
actually
type
not that hard.
you type in the text by like eye movement, over a virtual keyboard. Totally.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So where can people go to find out about what you're doing and follow along at home?
We are. What is our Twitter handle? God, we're so prepared.
So unprepared, yeah. I mean, for one,
fine.
you can wishlist the game on Steam.
Yes, which
Yes,
I've
Helps
done, which
please.
us a lot.
I've already done.
Nothing's more important.
Yes.
You can follow us on Twitter at Lual_games, which is also our Twitch handle.
Okay.
I think we're on Instagram. I don't remember what our handle is. Help.
I will check.
Help.
We are on Instagram and on TikTok.
Okay.
On TikTok
Kids.
too. With
Oh,
the
TikTok.
Ice Adventure. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey.
The nice thing about having a publisher with a marketing team is that you have people who do that for you.
Oh, there you go.
But you didn't send me to your publisher. You answered me directly instead.
Yeah, that we still do ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. They like.
Oh, but why are you actually on TikTok? It's a bit surprising for a text adventure, right, to be on
There.
TikTok.
It's very good for game development to market on TikTok. Actually, a lot
Really?
of people have. Yeah.
TikTok's the new thing, man. It's Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook. They're going out of style. It's TikTok's
And-
where the jazz is.
Also, at the same time, like we have a very split target group, and one of them is like people who actually grew up with text adventures and think this new stuff is interesting, and then like the young crowd who's like all about the nostalgia and the mental health problems.
So old people and young people.
Yeah. Nothing in between.
Exactly. Yeah. The
If you're
middle
middle-aged, get
yeah.
fucked, I guess.
Yeah. If you're in your 20s, early 30s, you're not the demographic. We're looking for.
I mean,
looking for people 60 and up, and then 18 and below.
I just wanted to say, with my 41, even I didn't start with text adventures as in my childhood. So, yeah. So I'm probably ruled out there. I mean, I'm
44, and I did start out with it. So.
You see. Yeah, yes. You see, that's a 3 years difference there. That's exactly the 3 years different there. That's.
And it probably also like was available earlier in America, right? Like English-speaking stuff than in Germany.
We had a lot of games early on because discs were expensive, and what you would do is you'd get a magazine, and these magazines would, and I got one right here.
Let me guess, it's probably Lodestar, right?
It's Run.
Oh, it's not Lodestar.
So what you'd do is you'd get these magazines from way back in the day, and because floppy disks were expensive, they would put in your games as a basic listing that you would have to type in. But because you could only do the most kind of basic type games in that, you can't do like a AAA like full graphics everything, because you would need like a team of people. These were mostly text adventures or very, very simple. Very, very simple sort of text adventure stuff like that. That's what a lot of people started out with, because you turn on a Commodore 64 and you just get a blue screen with a cursor, and you got to figure out what to do from there. So
Cool.
it's there was most of the magazine is just program listings to enter.
That's so cool.
That's really nice.
So
that's nice. Now I feel young again.
Yeah, right.
You didn't have,
and you'd always misspell one thing somewhere, and the whole thing wouldn't work. And then you'd have to go through try to figure out which one line of code you messed up, because it would never tell you. You'd have to go through and just try to figure it out.
We are spoiled with our coding programs.
Oh yes.
I mean, as to say it, actually our guests are getting younger in a way, because like you guys, a lot of people that are now the Generation Z, I would say, are interested into records, which are now called vinyl, and here in Germany, tapes are now a thing. Music tapes are coming back.
I don't think this is ever going to come back though, because
listing typing, I don't know.
Yeah, that was pretty not fun.
Yeah, see?
Well, you can find most of these as PDFs on the Internet Archive. So
okay.
Find a C64 emulator and set aside 6 hours to sit down and type code. And
if I get tired of writing code, I'll just type code off of a magazine.
And prepare to be disappointed by the worst game ever put in a magazine, because that's what most of them were.
Of course.
I mean, nowadays you can cheat. You can actually put it on your scanner and then use OCR and then.
Never.
You can also probably most of these games exist in the world where you can just download them now because someone has typed them in. And
but you have to suffer to.
Exactly. Yes. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
suffering is part of the fun.
I mean, here in the German magazines, the worst was when there was a typing error in the printed listing, and
Oh
then
no!
the follow-up magazine would say like, "Oh, we are sorry, you had a typing mistake in the last issue, so here's
There.
the."
Oh, the
so
worst
here's
was the
correction in
actual
line 1 and 2.
the actual Commodore 64 programmer's reference guide that would come to show you how to program it. And it was like, it was not a cheap book at the time. It was an expensive, like thick book with all these programs that you could type. And I've identified at least like 8 listings that have typos.
Oh shit.
Oh my God. I mean, I guess in like a book that big, it happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
But
they
if
fixed
it
them
doesn't
later
tell
on.
you what's wrong about it,
Right,
you
yeah.
just go insane.
Yeah.
Right, you do, yeah. It's like I must have done something wrong. Why doesn't this work? And then later on, like later issues, later revisions would fix it. But that's not for another like 10 years down the road when they release Volume 2 or something.
Oh my God.
Isn't that book that was first released in black and white, and then there was a new version of it?
Yeah, the PRG, yeah, the Programmer's Reference Guide, which should exist somewhere over here because I keep it handy. Because I'm a dork.
I think I have.
Everyone's got the PRG. That's
Yeah.
like.
Not in Germany. Not in Germany. In Germany, most people didn't have it because we had our German.
This glorious piece of.
Give me a second. I got the first version. I can show you. 1 second.
I think this is the first version.
Is this the Bible
Yes,
for computer people?
First edition for the C64. Yeah. First edition, and I've got actually some. I don't know where they are, but I've got notes on here that I wrote in when I figured out that there was an error.
Yeah. I found it. So what HA has is actually the later color version.
No, well, this is actually first edition.
No, there is one that is even before that.
Yes, 10th printing, but first edition.
Yes, but this is the very first one.
Yeah.
Without color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Theological disputes.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I made some research, and this is actually the first ever printed version, and it's so rare that I found it in Israel.
Oh, he has.
What?
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
So somebody in Israel had this first version. It totally looks beaten up and stuff, but hey, I have it. Yeah.
Nice.
Good.
Because most people in the world only know the version HA has.
Well, no, there was another version after this that I also had. That was the one that I originally had that didn't have that wasn't spiral bound. But but that's it's nice to have it open to a page so you can see what you're doing. And that later version, you couldn't do that without. I used to just rip the pages out and stick them there. So mine was.
Wow. Yeah, he's brutal.
Mine was in pretty bad shape by the time I was done with it.
He's brutal. I take a bit more care of my book.
So where were we again? We were.
Well, I mean, we actually. I mean,
TikTok,
we actually finished the interview with the line. So where can people find you?
Oh no, we're still going because we have to say we'll put those listings and everything, the links in the podcast description below so everyone can check them out.
Right.
I'm actually,
Yes.
you know what? I want to do I want to record a playthrough of the demo because I think that would be fun.
Yeah, man. If you want to sit through that, I don't. You can do it. Not a problem.
That's a lovely thing to tell our guests.
Well,
If you want to sit through their game, that's fine. I don't want to do that.
I already told you I have a very low frustration level when it comes to getting stuck in games. So
yeah, no, I think this is cool. I'm already on the wait list, and I'm going to download as soon as we're done here the demo because
Nice.
I really actually want to try it because it looks cool. And yeah, I'd like to do a playthrough of the demo for our channel.
Well, the truth is, I suck at playing games. I'm better in
Yes.
doing interviews. That's how it is for me.
I will agree with that.
So, never mind. Anyway,
Well, thank you for sitting down with us and talking about your game because
you.
It was awesome.
Thank you too. It was really nice. I enjoyed
Yeah.
talking to you.
And we'll see you
Thanks.
at Gamescom, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, I will let you know when I'm doing the planning for meeting up with publishers and coders and so on. So you said you actually will have your publisher showing your game, so you will
Yeah.
not show it yourself, kind of?
Well, we're there. I don't quite know what the setup is going to be yet.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
most of the
still
time,
early.
they're just there and the developers are there to show the game off. They like to have the developers there to actually talk about their game.
Right.
Makes
Sometimes.
sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Does.
yeah. Right. Alrighty, but
Right.
I guess you will be mostly, either in the indie or in the indie area or something, or the normal business area. Or do you not know yet?
I don't think we're going to be in the business area,
No.
but apart from that, no clue. They're still planning it as well, I think.
Okay. I see. Well, I will.
We just
I will-
make the game. We don't know anything else.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when we know what we are up to, I will just email you, and then we'll see how we go.
Yes,
about that.
please.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Totally.
I think last year you were in the indie.
Yes,
Yes.
and they're in
Area,
a booth,
right?
but
Yeah,
we're
so
not going
most-
there anymore, I think.
I don't think so, but we don't
No.
know yet. Yeah.
Pretty complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's,
at least Gamescom still happening now that E3
Yeah.
has been cancelled forever.
Yeah.
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 Did you
Perhaps
want to
it's
say
getting-
something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say before we forget that
Yeah.
I have found the handles for TikTok and Instagram.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
It's I doesn't exist altogether.game
For
Nice.
Instagram and TikTok.
for both. Yes.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
Perfect,
And again,
thank
we'll
you.
put links to all that in the podcast description below so people can follow.
Awesome.
And you'll probably be getting, if you haven't already, requests on LinkedIn or Facebook. I see the Yurik has already gone
Yeah.
for that. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably going for LinkedIn. I mostly do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to open LinkedIn again. Then. I
Yeah,
haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I rarely open it
Yeah,
as well,
same.
but if we're doing follow-ups, then I like to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I open it when I have messages, but
I just get so many people asking to connect that I don't know that I just. But
Yeah.
now I will check. I will
Yeah.
check it.
Alrighty.
All right. Well,
so
thank you, sir.
I would say thank you, sir.
Yeah. That's just my go-to. I just
Doesn't work.
everyone's sir.
Doesn't work
Fine with
quite
me.
well this time.
Sure it does.
Even with an all-female
In
interview.
the military, anyone that outranks you is sir.
Okay.
fine with me.
Alrighty. Okay, well, so thanks again for taking the time, and I would say have a good
Yes.
night over there in Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
Thank you too.
Yep.
You as
Keep
well.
in touch, and I let you know when we are going to release this.
Yep, and we'll let
I
you know
guess-
when I do the playthrough thingy.
Yes, please.
Yes. please
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Sweet.
So talk to you then. Bye bye.
Alrighty.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.